Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Raul, and here we are continuing on with our 73 Trans Am project, their resin trans kit from MCW. And if you've been following along, got the body cleaned up, and then I did soak it in the purple pond degreaser and cleaned everything all up. And so everything is ready for primer and paint now, but I'm still doing some body work to it and everything. So and then getting some of the things pre-assembled off of the donor kit. Here's the engine, put the intake on and the heads on and the front cover, and just glue this together, got it ready for paint. And then along with the engine, these parts right here, the oil pan, alternator, fan, carburetor, belts, starter, and distributor, these were all chrome plated and on the chrome tree. So I stripped them of their chrome and getting them ready for paint. On this one, I did not glue the oil pan in place. You see how tight it is in there? If I was brush painting it blue, I wouldn't worry about it. But on this one, I am airbrushing it. So it's easier to get in there and paint all of this. And then some of this top lip will actually be seen also. So I need to make sure I paint the top of this too. Because when you put it in place, you can see how some of it is actually exposed. So I'll be painting both sides of this oil pan. I still have a little bit of sanding to do. But it's much easier to get the paint in here and in here when it's apart in this setup. So I'll airbrush all of that, the appropriate 73 blue, which is a more of a turquoise blue, non-metallic. With Firebirds, the engines, they're different color greens and blues depending on the years and variants of that. So I tend to like to follow that stuff. A little piece of trivia for you. Pontiac guys know that. But you know, I got the pan ready and the engine ready to paint, and then the valve covers. Most of the Pontiacs, and I'm pretty sure in this year they were painted valve covers. But I kind of like these ones chrome, so I left them chrome. I'm pretty sure I'm going to leave them chrome on this one to dress it up, since this one is not purely stock. It's, you know, the color is going to be Brewster green or real close to it, but it's not truly stock color. And then I started sanding the mirrors, so the mirrors are shaped a little bit better. Took the flash off. I still got to drill them and pin them. I'll do that here real soon. So you'll see that. And then I started to fit. The hood is starting to really fit the body. And then you see I started to glue stuff to it. So checking my grill insert. It's fitting in there really well. And then, you know, that's fitting the body. So you can see, you know, how it's fitting and everything. So the inside of the body is all ready to accept these parts. So I started to clean up and sand, and this is a resin part from MCW for the front of the Trans Am. The one that's in the donor kit is molded to the front bumper, and it's a completely different shape because the whole front end is different. But these are from the donor kit, and I lined them up and glued them as best as I can. There's a huge gap right here on both sides, so and I couldn't get them any closer, you know, because they just didn't seem to fit. So I got them here, and this happens with resin kits and trans kits, because in the model these are 79, and the body's a little bit different, shaped a little bit different than what the 73 is, and the fenders are made a little bit different. So I got these glued on, and everything, you know, lined up as best as I can. I'll fill in these gaps and smooth them out and make them all line up, and I'll sand this down, get them to all line up, and I'll show you that step by step. But these are the things that you're going to run into with resin kits. You never know what you're going to get, but you know, it's the way it lines up. And then there's supposed to be a little part line here anyway, so when I fill this in, I'm going to use probably a piece of flat styrene, and I'll putty it and smooth it all out. But I will show you all that. But right now, this is just raw super glued. I haven't done any body work. You might see the occasional super glue fingerprint. Got the rear ones glued on here as well. Lined them up as best as I can. They really seem to stick out. But you know, my reference material on the real car is kind of the same way. This rocker molding is still here from the Formula 400. The rocker molding and wheel opening moldings are there. So I scuffed the wheel opening moldings kind of away. I'll sand this away a little more flush to make it disappear. Under the door it's not so visible, but under the fender right here it kind of stands out. But I haven't really addressed that just yet. I got the spoiler on. The spoiler was kind of a pain in the butt because it didn't quite want to fit, and it still pulls away. So right here it still kind of pulls away. I'll see about getting that in. And this side is much shorter, it's just missing, and I'll see what I can do about extending that and blending that in. But so I've got some work to do in these areas, but it's glued in, and these panel lines are really shallow. You can see my super glue in there and everything because I haven't done any body work to it other than just some rough shaping to get it going. But so that's going, and then I got the rear valance panel glued in place so that I can slide in and easily accept the rear bumper. So the bumper's starting to go in there and fit in there. So I'm pretty happy with the way that's fitting. So there it is. It's pretty much roughed in. I'm going to start doing the body work and primer and everything. So I figured I would stop here and give you a rundown of where I'm at right now with all of this. And then the interior, it's cleaned and ready to go. Not so much I really need to do this one. The only thing that kind of, cracks me up, and this is a MPC thing, and I see this all the time, and in some of my other videos I mentioned it. You notice it's the console here, it's an automatic pedal, okay, but it's a manual transmission, and I see that a lot with MPC, so I just wanted to point that out. And I'm going to leave the manual tranny, but I think I'm going to modify the tub here, just take that all out and put in a boot and a stick shift. And then I don't know if I'll actually add the pedal or not because you can't see that under the dash, but the shifter is much more visible. So I think I'm going to clean that up and change that. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that just yet. And the only other thing with this kit, I mean, here's the shaker, and then here's the base that comes with it, but there's no snorkel. And then the donor kit has this air cleaner lid with the snorkel, but when you look at the directions here, its air cleaner is 3 pieces. There's the base and snorkel, the flat top, and then the shaker glues on it, and then the filler panel here, which I need to find that. I seem to be missing that because I need to add that to the back of this, so I got to go through my donor kit and find it again. But I think I'm just gonna end up cutting this snorkel off and gluing it onto this piece, gluing it right onto this piece, because it's all got the whole thing. The other option is completely sand this off, but it's at an angle. But I'm going to check all that and mock up. But I think I'm going to end up just cutting this piece off and glue it on here at the appropriate spot and clean up this a little bit more. It still needs some work. But I think that's how I'm going to do that a little bit. But there we are. That's where I'm at the moment. And next I'm going to get some primer on it and really start doing the body work and sanding, especially some of the super glue areas and some more of the blending, and get this stuff filled in right there. So I will get moving on that, and I'll show you where I'm at. Okay, just doing a couple more things here. Getting the mirrors pinned. So there's one of the mirrors. So I got the pin running in there, and since it's nice white resin, you can see really how deep that pin actually goes in there. But so that one's pinned, and matter of fact, let me just clip that here. And I'm ready to do my next set of mirrors, but get those clipped and ready to go. I'll drill the holes in the body here, and then on the body, those gaping holes, here they are. You can just see I just took a piece of just flat styrene stock that I got and just cut little squares and started fitting them and sanded them so they're in there. Right now just still kind of roughing in, but filling in the gap, and then I'll sand and smooth them out. And matter of fact, we'll just trim them here with this. So that kind of completes this, and I'll do the body work and smooth all that out. And then last little thing I've done here is I did find my piece that goes in the back here. So I filed that smooth, got it ready, and it's now in there and glued. And then the other thing I did is sanded the bottom of the shaker flat. So it's ready for primer. So all of these are ready for primer. So I'll drill the mirror hole mounts and get my mirrors mocked up, and then get some primer on this, and we'll see where we're at that moment. So just a quick little update for you, and we will move on. Well, I got some primer on her today. Just a few hours ago, shot this on, but just to give you an idea of where we're at right now, and as far as the bodywork goes and priming. Here's the engine shot primer. Really don't need to do anything to this. And then the oil pan, like I said, primed both sides of it. So both of those are ready. Got the grill primed, mainly just to look at it and get an idea. This will be semi-gloss black as it goes inside the chrome. And then shot the rest. I roll tape backwards. That's just how I like to stick things and attach them so I can paint them. And it kind of helps, but that's just my personal preference. I like to clean off all the edges and get it ready for paint that way and stick it on. But here's the interior. I haven't done anything to the console yet as far as making it a stick. I'll be doing that shortly, but my main focus right now is the body. So, but since I'm shooting some of these things, here's the hood. Pretty nice, straight. Still some lip around it. I still got to clean it up, fit it better to the body, but being in primer helps me. So I've got those items ready, and then I shot the seats. I did a little bit of sanding around it, but I'll do a little bit more. But the shaker bubble, the base is actually body color as well as this, and it seems like it just sits a little too far back if I stick it where the pins go. So I'm going to play with this a little bit, but I still have some body work to do because there's some folds and whatnot. So but this piece is glued on the back, and she's pretty ready. But there's just some work to do to these, and then shot some on the mirrors so you can see it. It wasn't exactly dry there, so now I got my fingerprint in a spot there. Not a big deal. This is my first coat of primer, and it's mainly just to see where I'm at. And here's the body, still on my stand. But if it focuses in pretty good, you can kind of see the super glue and some of the messed up areas right there. So I got to clean that a little bit. I really think those flares stick out a little too far on the back, so I may thin them out a little bit, do a little bit of reshaping. The front, I like how the front came out. You can see I filled them in. I really haven't done any putty work. That's just the super glue and sanding, just rough sanding. You see my mold line in the front. Still got to take care of that. And the mold lines here, right up here at the top of the fender. And then I drilled for the mirrors. I got a mold line here that I need to take care of. You can see that. And then there's mold lines all over. And you can kind of see the super glue mess on the back of the spoiler here. So there's just a lot of cleaning and sanding back there. So there we go. But I just got it in primer because it makes it easy to see where I'm going with it. And you can see two holes here. I drilled one thinking that's where I wanted the mirror, and then when I got it mocked up I didn't like it, so I drilled another one a little farther forward, and I put a dab of super glue in there to fill it, but there was apparently a little bubble. But I mean, I'll fix that too. And then up here on the fender there's a blemish in the resin, the mold there, so I got to clean that and clean those areas, but that stuff's pretty easy to take care of. But it's all little detail work, but once you prime it you can see all of this stuff. So on the primer stage there's a bit more work to do on it, but I'll be cleaning it up and straightening it up and getting all the lines taken care of. But so that's where I'm at the moment. I guess I can take it off of my paint stand now. I really don't needed to be sitting on there. But as my cheap 2x4 wood stand with coat hangers that are just put in there and bent. Got a couple of these that I use now. Have it a little easier because the wind doesn't blow them over. But I'm liking how this is turning out, and I got a lot more body work ahead of me. But I just want you to see where I'm at the moment, and I think this will complete this for a little bit, and I'll be working on it because I'm working on this one and a couple of the Corvettes body work wise. But this one's the most challenging of the three. So there we are at the moment, and we'll continue on building on this. So there'll be some more updates, but here we are on this one. So thank you guys for subscribing. Thanks for hitting the bell button for any of you guys who want alerts for my newest uploads. And thanks for all your comments and watching. You guys, you have a wonderful day.